What's up, chat? Happy Saturday, February 20th, 2021. Hope you guys made out well last night. We vibing. I got the wrong screen open. There we go. What's up, chat? How we doing? Last night was wild. About last night, but we made money, and that's all that matters. Joel Embiid, late in the day, Ben Simmons news came out and said he didn't participate in shoot around, and that was all I needed to know. Started upping my Embiid exposure. Embiid and Hernan Gomez became my two highest owned centers, really on both sides, but especially a lot of center util on DraftKings. And those lineups did wonders. I didn't have any Embiid Vucevic lines on DraftKings, but that was real nice. Vuce did his thing, man. I thought 50-ish would be where he sat. Nah, he did a little bit extra, 74.5. So that was huge. Jamal Murray, 50 real points, a 50 bomb. Him and Jokic combined for well over 100 fantasy points. Trae Young out fantasy performed Steph Curry by a quarter of a point. Clint Capella was up here. And then we talked about the Suns stack quite a bit. I thought it was a team you could three-man stack. Ironically, Devin Booker ended up being the expendable Sun, right? But DeAndre Ayton, I thought was a little bit underpriced at 6,700. He did well. Unfortunately, on that slate, it was almost irrelevant compared to what the other centers did. But 56 out of Paul, Ayton performed, and then Jay Crowder with 35. Booker just 23 real points, 32 fantasy points. Was certainly very, very expendable on the Pelican side. I did up my Zion, and then I ended up upping my Lonzo because I had spots on FanDuel where I had Kemba, and I thought Kemba, that was like preparing for Jaylen Brown to be out, but then Jaylen Brown was in. So I diversified that Kemba exposure into Lonzo. Ironically, Kemba still went bananas, but I really couldn't lose in that combo because Lonzo Ball still did his thing. Kemba dropped 52 and a quarter. So it was just one of those swaps that just happened to work no matter what. But man, it was a very high scoring night across the board. I tier 1 Norman Powell, proud of that one. 48 DKP. Very, very high scoring slate. If you guys made it out alive, congrats to you. We have seen some big scoring slates in the past week or so. So if you guys walked out with more than you walked in, or even the same amount as you walked in, that's a dub ski. Shout out to the live chat. Conscious Machine, Robert Kahn, who wins, Lakers or the Heat? Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. That's a good one. The Lakers are going to be short-handed too. I don't know. That's going to be a fun basketball game. What's up, Quan? What's up, John? Thoughts on going with Lillard, Cantor, Dre, Bagley, and Caruso? I think the Kings news will really kind of show my hand on what I ended up doing with Bagley. There's still some news to develop or really to be confirmed. Lillard, I think, is just in a smash spot. We get the snub narrative. We get the matchup of the century. Cantor's fine. Draymond on a back-to-back. This isn't the first time he's playing on a back-to-back, but but I guess he would be fine. And then Caruso is just going to be one of those volatile punt guards that can get there. But I definitely don't hate any of those picks individually, John. They all make sense. What up, Lorenza? How we doing? Model's always to play Embiid, Joker, and Vooch at home. Don't care the matchup. This has been my rule for the last couple of years, no matter if they have a bad night. I mean, centers in general, especially the guys like that, they're just so high talented. But I think we can't just dismiss that. One, Vucevic had a super solid matchup. He's still benefiting without Aaron Gordon, with no real point guards. And then it's just him and Evan Fournier, a little T. Ross doing the scoring. So I mean, don't just rule him out. If Aaron Gordon's in the mix, if they have a Markelle Fultz or somebody like that, Vucevic's range of outcomes are a little bit wider. And then Jokic is just Jokic. He's doing it. But at his price, he has to do it. So it is what it is. Vucevic is the guy that really kind of shocked me. Like I had him sitting at 50, and he dropped to 75. But I had so much Embiid, it really didn't matter. And then Hernan Gomez. We might have got a little bit lucky on the Hernan Gomez plays, guys. Just 23 minutes and dropped 28 and a quarter. So was still a fantastic value play, but maybe without Steven Adams, we were kind of hoping for close to 30 minutes. That didn't quite happen, but I'll take 28 at under 4K all day long, all day strong. What up, James? Has anybody ever scored 93 FanDuel points before in DFS? You talking about for just the individual player? Yeah. I think James Harden had 100. That might have been DraftKings. I bet we could stat mute this. Most FTP by game log ever? I don't know. If I just did that. Maybe I NBA. Oh, yeah. Joel Embiid. I guess Joel Embiid made history last night. He scored the most FanDuel points ever in a game. Joel Embiid. Jokic before that, 88.6 was a couple weeks ago. And then Embiid at 84. Yeah, all right. So Joel Embiid made history. I didn't even realize that. I know that Harden was sitting on 100 on DK before. You said Anthony Davis had 98. That actually, I feel like that's true. I don't see Anthony Davis on this list. Maybe this means this season. I think this is just this season. Let me type all time. Most NBA FTP by game log all time. Hakeem Olajuwon had 120.4 FanDuel points against the Supersonics. 53 minutes, 38, 17, 6, 7 steals, 12 blocks. Is that the greatest game ever played? Holy. Just 14 field goals made. So Hakeem is up there with 120. Michael Jordan in 1990 dropped 112. Hakeem did that in 1987, by the way. Hakeem has 2 of the top 3. Shaq has a 107. Chris Webber has 100. Kobe with 100, that 81-point game. Hakeem has a lot. Yo, Hakeem would have been like 14K, bro. What? And then the general, David Robinson. There was actually an anniversary of this game not too long ago. This was the game where he had a triple-double with blocks, I believe. Yeah, blocks. And then AD is probably the most modern player on this list. 2016, he dropped 99.5. But look how many Hakeems are up here, man. Hakeem getting look at all these Hakeem games. This is nutty. Hakeem was just out here dropping 90 to 100 like it was nothing. We got one game at 120, 112, 100, 99, 98. Yo, Hakeem, bro. Get it done. Let's see. Dirk's got a 95. You think Robertson had a quad dub? I think that's what it was. I think that's it. No, that's not it. I'm curious now. David Robertson most. this one right here. Yeah, he had a quad dub with steals. He had a quad dub with steals against the Suns, and it wasn't even like a top 5 most fantasy point game for him on FanDuel. And think about how much extra steals are worth. So 20, 11, 10, and 10 for 74 FanDuel points and 86. Bro, these scoring... You know how people are like, oh, NBA's gone to trash. Scoring's nuts these days. Look at this. This is all from like the 80s and 90s, bro. There are some big old scores, man. I feel like people just... That's how people are. They just think now is the worst ever. Big numbers, though. That's fun. That's fun to look at. Jim, what's up, Jim? Hey, Gun, looks like the Washington and Portland game is a total of 242 points. Should we load up on this game? Absolutely. Lorenza had only Embiid and Vooch last night at center. Then you made money, right? Like, that's huge. Giuliano gun 400 points again last night with Embiid. It's rough. It's rough out here. Lorenzo, the dream would be the greatest center of this era. Yeah, Hakeem has some nutty games. Missed 100K by one player. I guess this is going to be me again. Old Raj, man. He's taking too much time off, bro. We're going to have to DFA him. Set him down to the G League fantasy discussion shows for a little bit. How we doing? Happy Saturday, y'all. Hope you guys are doing all right. Today, easy 5-game slate. A much later lock than usual. I didn't really process the start time yesterday when I announced 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. I was like, let's go ahead and push this sucker back because tonight's first game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, and I just thought there was enough of a gap there that we could push an hour back anyway, and it's just 5 games. So we'll be able to navigate pretty smoothly. We'll pull up the Fantasy Labs Twitter here. We did kind of get just hit with a bunch of Grizzlies news. Grayson Allen ruled out for rest. Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, all out. Brandon Clark out. Justice Winslow upgraded to questionable. He hasn't played yet. So the Grizzlies, their starting lineup from the last week, essentially out except Ja and J-Val. So that's going to shake up a lot. I did put together players that I think are going to play today for the Grizzlies, and they're maybe not as short as we think they are just looking at that information. I did end up putting 10 players in the mix, assuming Winslow gets in there. If not, then I got 9 players. So they're not like dead in the water in terms of bodies. So maybe don't overreact to that in a tough matchup, but I do think we're going to get some chip and chair pricing on guys like Desmond Banks, John Concher, guys like that. So certainly think I'll be looking there for value, but it's not like there's a bunch of 3K guys playing 40 minutes a day in that situation. So maybe don't overreact. What's up, Josh Clemente? Hope you're doing all right. Debo. Stevie Mooring, 80 had 98. He did. Imagine Wilt Chamberlain, 100-point game. Oh, is that even on here? Let's see. Wilt Chamberlain, most FTP by game log. I'll just see what comes back. I don't know how far back StatMuse picks up. Maybe they don't go that far back. Looks like maybe like mid-80s is the cutoff. What's up, WW Fresh? What up, Earth to Air? How we doing? You guys doing all right? Excited for the weekend? Just had what is tomorrow looking like too? These weekend streams, trying to be different. Used to take weekends off, but I figured after football, we can do a little extra before baseball gets here. Tomorrow's a big slate. Main slate looking like 2, 4, 6, 7. So I might even do a Sunday stream. Maybe. Don't quote me. Maybe. So we'll have some fun. Shadow, how many minutes do you think Joe Val plays? Right now I got Joe Val at 29. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we jump into it. Who's your favorite value on Memphis? I still don't like these guys. Like I said, I think there's still a reason to not be over ambitious on what they put up. It's still a tough matchup. They are catching their Suns on a back-to-back. But I do think, at these prices, just chipping a chair at $3K if you're going to get 30 minutes. I don't need a whole lot on a shorter slate, right? Shorter slate, we can live on some of these 5X value guys, and it's not necessarily going to be as intense or as high pressure to get a big ROI on these low-price guys like it is on these big slates where there's just too many bodies in the mix where you're going to have to get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10X value. So I'll probably will lean on the Grizzlies for some value, but I probably don't see myself like locking a player and just going with it, right? But yeah, Desmond Banks is a high percentage shooter, so I definitely am thinking I'm gonna lean on him a little bit. Chat, any top shotters in the chat? You guys played the market yesterday. What a wild rodeo that was. It was one of the most active days, or I think it was the most active day money-wise ever for them. Had some fun yesterday. Flipped a lot of money. But now the gift set's going back up. So sitting at over $1,000 profit on just the gift set. And I'm wondering now, do I hold for Derrick Rose or do I just sell out and take the $1,000 plus profit that I'm guaranteed? Anyway, fun stuff. Let's get into today's slate. Charlotte Hornets hosting the Golden State Warriors. First game on the docket. Project starting five for the Warriors: Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Juan Toscano Anderson, and Draymond Green. Warriors night 2 of a back-to-back. Charlotte Hornets without Devontae Graham. They're going to be putting out LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, P.J. Washington, Cody Zeller. We got a 233.5 total. The visiting Warriors favorited by 2, and I think this game is very, very, very stackable on both ends, and perhaps a little bit uncomfortable, but still stackable on the Hornets end. I want to pull up the Hornets on-off court tool here and do a little bit of on-offing. We're going to take off the homie Devontae Graham. We're going to put on Melo, Hayward, and Rozier. Because I do think there's a world where all three of those guys can make a lineup or two today in 100 lineups. But I definitely think I'm going to have a lot of at least 2 of those 3. Looking at these numbers, 229 minutes of sample size. We got a 21% usage rate on Rozier, 24% on Hayward, 24% on LaMelo. So that's very, very evenly distributed, and they all average about a point per minute or better here. And because of Devontae Graham being out, I got them all projected at essentially 35 or greater minutes. So if you're going to give me a point per minute shot and you put it in a pace-up matchup like the Golden State Warriors, Warriors are going to be running one of the top 3 paces in all of basketball. If I sort that, Warriors have the number 2 pace in basketball. So if I put all these guys at a point per minute here at 36 minutes, I definitely think they can all make the mix here. And we've seen Terry Rozier play really, really big real scoring basketball as of late. And I don't mind finally rostering him. And this would be hashtag DFS. I play AK Terry Rozier and it blows up in my face. But look at this. 3 games in a row, 46, 57, 53, 30-plus real points. Just absolutely getting it done. Chucking from downtown 9 or more three-point attempts in 3 games straight. Couple free throws in the mix and some peripherals. So I foresee myself having several lineups with all 3, but I definitely think I could see myself having a core of 2 of 3 in a majority of lineups. Cody Zeller, somebody I think could be a PPM guy. I do think this game is going to be somewhat super small ball. See a lot of P.J. Washington at the 5, Hayward at the 4 type of stuff, Malik Monk in the mix. I just think there's really not anybody on the Hornets I would consider off limits outside of like a Cody Martin or somebody like that. But even Bridges has a chip in a chair for me as well. On the Warriors side, you guys know how that story goes. Steph Curry had a slow developing first half. Second half, he woke up. We saw a big game out of Kelly Oubre yesterday. He's almost 7K. And then Wiggins is right there, 6'4", 6'2", and Draymond Green, I think it's more obtainable on DraftKings at 6'6". This is very stackable all the way around. I don't really have much projected for not giving me a strong floor. So with a 230-plus game total, I know we're looking at Portland and Washington and that game total. But Washington, if we're being honest, is a way more volatile team stack than either one of these two teams are. And I just think this is a great spot to target. I could see a lot of 2v2s, 3v3s in lineups to really get myself jump-started into the slate. This game is kind of on an island for 30 minutes, but that's fine. I think it's great. I think LaMelo Ball, I read a narrative earlier. I talked about, playing on Top Shot, and I think one of the fun things about Top Shot is I'm able to go back and interact with not DFS players, guys that still have a casual set of eyeballs and looking at the slate or looking at results. And one of the narratives I read this morning to invest in LaMelo was that last night Anthony Edwards had the dunk of the year over, was it Watanabe? And it just got massively hyped. And this guy goes, all the eyes were on Anthony Edwards last night. LaMelo Ball against Steph Curry. He's going to want to show up and show out. And to an extent, I laughed at that. But I do think the more and more superstars LaMelo ends up starting against, the more he's going to want to play. He's thought about going against Steph. So 7-8 on FanDuel, 8-8 on DK. I really need 50-plus fantasy points on DK, but I think this game being a pace-up spot for the Hornets and the minutes just being so high, I think I can get there. So I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking on this game. But early on, this might be my favorite total game stack, even more so than the high total in the Portland game, right? Lorenzo Embiid models this game around the Dream. Hakeem the Dream. W Fresh made profit on Top Shot, only bought 2 packs just messing around. But we can never withdraw the money because it's like Monopoly money the way it is. I can't speak on that side, but I do think I've developed enough trust to believe long-term that the money is safe and legit. That being a licensed project, some bigger names involved, actual NBA players pushing it, Mark Cuban, guys like that pushing it. I jumped in a couple of those voice chats, and there's a giant black market and people trying to abuse and manipulate the system. So I think they're just trying to make police it legitly and roll through ID verifications. The one thing I saw that is a little bit sus is perhaps withdrawal limits, but I don't want to turn this into a Top Shot stream. But yes, it's very easy to make profit, and I've reached out to several of my friends who are always asking me to get them in DFS, and I just know they don't have the grind for it, so I never bother it. But I've reached out to them and be like, hey, sign up on this site, and then whenever packs drop, just get in the queue. You can't lose money, and that's as simple as that. So, yeah. Quant says Draymond Green will play Saturday. Yeah, Draymond's going to be in here. This is not the first back-to-back for him. LaMelo over 32 points, rebounds, and assists. I think so. I think this pace-up spot, at least my knee-jerk reaction is yes. Let me sort my player props tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. And I would assume LaMelo is going to be top 5 to top 10 in PRA projections. I got him at 34. So, yeah, if the line is 32.5, I'm in agreement with that, both gut feeling and projection-wise. W Fresh, I'm not paying that for Rozier with Washington and Hayward both back. No thanks. Rozier did that with Hayward in a game. Terry Rozier DKP by game log with Gordon Hayward last 5 games. I think as long as Devontae Graham's out, we can still pin those minutes on him. He had 57 the last game with Gordon Hayward. Matter of fact, he's had 46 or better with Hayward. PJ Washington, sure, but come on. It's like I don't think PJ Washington versus Miles Bridges was really shape-shifting usage potential. And like we did pull the on-off court tool, and he's leading the Melo, Hayward, and Rozier. When those three are on, Devontae's off. He's leading them in points per minute. 229 minutes sample size, whatever. And I get it. If his shot's not falling, maybe it's going to be an ugly click. But correlation-wise, I don't necessarily think you should be off him just because Hayward and PJ's there. W first, it's not licensed by the NBA. You know that, right? It is licensed by the NBA. I don't know. Unless I'm way wrong, I'm 100% certain they're not selling the rights to NBA moments without a license. Like I'm 1,000,000% sure that they have a license to use NBA likeness. You have to have it. I used to love Andre Kirilenko in fantasy. Not DK those days, but he was good for 2 steals. Mr. 5x5, yes. So Steph Curry. So Steph Curry is going to be an interesting decision when you look at the top-end guards that this slate presents. We got Damian Lillard, snub narrative at home against a super soft matchup in the Washington Wizards. You still got Damian Lillard in a reverse soft matchup. You still got Russell Westbrook in a reverse soft matchup. Triple-double watch for him. And then De'Aaron Fox is sitting in a high-paced matchup. The NBA does not license Top Shot. I feel like that can't be true, bro. Like, I feel like there's no way that's true. Not true or true. There's no way. Like, you cannot. There's no way that's fresh. Come on, bro. There's no way. There's actually no way. Yeah, right down here. They got the NBA logo. There's no way they're not licensed, bro. 2020 NBA Properties, Inc. All rights. Officially licensed product of the NBA. They're 1,000,000% licensed, bro. Like, come on, bro. 1,000,000% licensed. But yeah, I think Steph Curry at 10-1, if you're rostering him, you're really hoping that he's the best of all those 10K point guards. Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, and even De'Aaron Fox. So I definitely, I don't disagree with it, but like I said yesterday, we talked about Trae Young versus Curry. It wasn't a snap call. So I do like the thought about Steph Curry here, and I definitely could see him being a little lower owned than maybe Damian Lillard, maybe. And the matchup's fine. The Charlotte Hornets are one of the worst teams at giving up points via the 3-ball. If you go to 3-point points allowed per game, the Charlotte Hornets are giving up the 3rd most points via the 3-ball. So that just presents a great spot. So it says it's licensed. Like, I don't know why that's a question. That's why I'm not worried about the money withdrawal process. Still can't withdraw your money, big man. You're gonna argue about that too. Don't be the guy who loses a statement and then back to. Come on, bro. Don't be that guy. Relax. We vibing. Miami Heat at the Lakers. Next game on the docket. Project starting 5 for the Heat. Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G. Buckets, Kelly Olynyk, Bam Adebayo, taking on LeBron James, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Wesley Matthews, Kyle Kuzma, and Marcus Gasol. We got 208.5 total. Lakers favored by 3 and a hook. They're gonna be without Dennis Schroeder again, without Anthony Davis. So kind of a short-staffed lineup, and I'm very curious to see what their offensive efficiency is without Schroeder and AD number-wise. So let me take off Schroeder. Let me take off AD, because this team scored under 100 points against the Nets, and that was a little bit surprising, because I think I could put together a 5-man roster from chat and feel like I got a shot at 100 points. So offensive efficiency 109.3. That's not elite in 355 minutes, but the defensive rating stays pretty strong. Oh man. We get banned. I liked him. Why did he turn on me like that, man? Jesus. I liked him. I don't know why some people get salty and just like whatever. I thought Fresh was a good one. I thought he was a good one. Rest in peace. Pour one out. A sip of bangs for you. Leave the memories alone. Kyle Kuzma, somebody to watch here. If he's unable to go, then Jesus, I don't know what they're going to do. Let me control F Kuzma and my injury news. Kuzma's probable. All right, so Kuzma being probable. Probably going to handcuff him and LeBron as probably my favorite correlation on the Lakers team in terms of guys to target. This conglomerate of under 4K guards is rough, man. KCP, Wesley Matthews. I mean, it's just such a wide range of outcomes. It's like playing Danny Green every day, right? You just don't know what you're going to get. Alex Caruso, Talen Horton-Tucker. I feel like those are a little bit more stimulating to me. Like, I want to play them. I know 20 plus is a stronger range of outcome. But my goodness, I mean, this Lakers team, KCP, Wesley, Marc Gasol from the starting five, what a wide range of outcomes we get here without AD, without Schroeder. If I pull up the per min results here, Montrezl Harrell, if we can bake him at 20-plus minutes, he's at 1.2 fantasy point per minute. But past that, it gets rough, and I don't think the Heat are as locked down as they used to be, but I still want to respect them in spots like this. And I like I said, this Lakers team didn't even get to 100 real points on that Nets team without KD, and was Kyrie out that game? But without KD, that defense is atrocious. So I'm gonna try and just lean on LeBron, Kuzma. I'll probably have some ancillary amounts of like Montrezl Harrell, and then I want to have some Caruso and Horton Tucker. I feel like those are the most common range of outcome guys to put up a strong performance. I would probably throw it to you guys. Do you guys like KCP, Wesley Matthews? Do you think they are worth having? Do you put them in the pool and max them at 10-15%? I don't know. Uncomfortable. Miami Heat side, Jimmy Butler has just been elite levels of efficient for fantasy. I don't think there's a reason for me to not have interest in him today. I would be curious to see if he gets lost in the sauce when it comes to people trying to jam in a Curry or a Westbrook or Lillard, somebody like that. But, man, ever since coming back, there's been one game, which was at Utah, which we've all kind of agreed that game just doesn't exist. We were never results-orientated in terms of at Utah. But since coming back at the end of, was it January? He's just been 44 fantasy points or better. And at sub 9K on a short slate, yeah, let's go for it. No quarrels on that one. Adebayo, 8,600. I don't think I land on him just because of some of the way lineup construction is kind of pushing me. I think I'm going super mid-tier with the Hornets, heavy on the Hornets, and probably 2 Warriors running back with trying to leave room for Lillard and stuff on the late end. I think Butler's like it for me on the Heat side. I'm not expecting a whole lot of real points here, just a 208.5 total. So give me a little Butler, maybe a shot or two of like Tyler Hero, and that's probably the extent for me. I'm curious to see what you guys think on this one. Definitely drop any nuggets that you might have here. What up, Scott? Heat in the over for all the money. I think that's a sharp take, Scott. I definitely think the Lakers defense takes a Heat backwards without AD, and they are super short. I don't really think Schroeder's like some elite defender, and you could argue that their defense goes up without Schroeder, but their offense definitely goes backwards. Man's got upset for being wrong. I mean, it happens. I just don't know why he took it that serious, you know. What up, Jay? What up, Keith? Robert said he said you're fat, and well, he's not wrong. I mean, he's not, but I'm not. Giuliano, do you have Kuzma in tonight? Yeah, I got him listed as probable. Scott says Washington's winning too. You like Washington? Okay. I like the secondary pick for the Lakers, but it's a super tough click. So I think what makes it even more intriguing is the Grizzlies ruling out as many people as they did. I think if you're other than Horton Tucker and like Caruso, which I get, I think if you're doing 1v1s, it's hard to ever really push a KCP or a Wesley Matthews over perhaps Desmond Bain at the same price, who will maybe take up, Dylan Brooks shot volume, maybe 15 shot attempts. Like, I don't know if that's a crazy projection. So I just don't know that even if I'm hurting for money on a KCP Matthews type situation, do I end up staying away from the alternates from Memphis. But give me a little Caruso, Horton Tucker. What about LeBron? 10-5 on FanDuel, 10-2 on DraftKings. No AD, no Schroeder. He's playing point guard. He has a 41.5% assist rate, a 35% usage rate. You would think that these numbers would project him as one of the highest floor players on the slate and perhaps one of the highest owned guys on the slate. He's priced as the number 2 most expensive guy to reach on the slate. 50 plus fantasy point, a realistic expectation. You take that 50 all day long, all day strong, right? But I guess you could argue back, maybe Jimmy Butler covering him a little bit might hinder him, but he's right in that MVP campaign. I am like I said, I'm very, very leery that the Lakers were unable to produce 100 plus real points against the Nets, but it's still LeBron. It's still his ridiculous usage rate in this spot. Do you guys? Where do you rank LeBron? Let's say if I threw you 5 names right now: Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard, LeBron, Steph Curry, Westbrook, and Jimmy Butler. Is LeBron top 3 in terms of your personal exposure to LeBron tonight? Definitely let me know. I feel like the 50 just feels like it's there, but I'd probably gamble on Lillard on the chance that I feel like 60 to 70 could be there for him. And then, like I said, I think Rozier and Hayward in that mid-tier seem pretty strong to me. So I'm wondering if LeBron ends up being like low tier 2 exposures for me, and I certainly think that's possible. EB says, question of the day, do you fade LeBron? I definitely think that's a strong question. Hero will outvalue Butler. Okay. Jim says, thoughts on Cameron Payne? I don't really, unless we get one of the guards out, I don't really see myself getting a Cameron Payne when we have some more viable, easier to justify punt guards. Can we take a chance on Quinn Cook, or is that just dumb at the minimum? So Cook was the name that I saw talked about in the Discord the other night when we got news that Schroeder was out. He only played 11 minutes there, so I really don't know how we project him for much more. So yeah, I probably don't, especially in a game that probably plays a little bit grindier. So I'm probably not on Cook. But I definitely like that line of thinking, trying to get that elite 3K contrarian guy. And I don't know if Cook's gonna be easy to justify other than just a shot in the dart. Ben snapping, I'm playing Bron. I think this season low key is for Kobe. That's why he's playing every game. He's definitely seeming like he's making a much higher concerted effort to play every game, even when before the season. The coaching staff was like, yeah, we're going to rest LeBron in decent spots. But I can't really remember a season where the MVP hype was this strong for LeBron in a while. Like, it seems like it's him versus Embiid every day, and that's the conversation. So I think he knows it, and without AD, I mean, this is a chance for him to make a statement, to get away from all that. You've had somebody carry you stuff, right? Look what this looks like. This looks like some of those Cavs teams he was carrying for a while. This is a rough lineup. Ben Snapper says, I got LeBron and Westbrook. Conscious says you rank LeBron number 1 out of all those guys. I think there's a case to be made that LeBron could have the highest floor, but if we start running ceilings, I like the thought of Curry or Dame. And one thing about Curry, I didn't bring it up, but since we're talking stupid narratives, Curry's father, Del Curry, is the commentator for the Charlotte Hornets. So a little bit of shooting in front of your dad narrative, and of course you could always spin Michael Jordan in the mix. So I do like some Curry. I just don't know where I rank him, and I feel like I might even put Damian Lillard above Curry. History says Iguodala will guard LeBron. Isaiah. In my opinion, I think I'm going Dame. I think Dame's the one for me, right? He's not on a back-to-back. He's got a narrative of his own. He didn't make the starting lineup for the Western Conference All-Star selection. Is what it is. StatMuse might do versus the Heat. I feel like that would be StatMuse for LeBron versus the Heat would be really misleading. I'm going to say misleading, but the context would be a little fluffy because it's the finals. Yeah. Just play Grizz value, maybe. I think Damian Lillard should be MVP of the season ended today. Blazers are 4th in the West as well. I think that's a valid statement, but I don't know that he would be MVP. I think he's in the conversation. Like, it's crazy that you said that, and he doesn't even make the starting lineup, right? Crazy, I'm fading LeBron on account of a blowout. You think it could blow out? Okay. Butler, LeBron, yep. Do you think Melton could be limited? Only 17 minutes in his return yesterday. I don't know if that 17 minutes was necessarily on or due to restriction. It is what it is. LeBron doesn't seem into these games. He's coasting a little. LeBron coasting? I don't know if I agree with that one. LeBron, he's definitely tired. I don't think he's coasting. LaMelo might have been the best narrative. Warriors passed on him and took Wiseman at 2. I like LaMelo. I think LaMelo's a super soft spot. I think he'll get up in the morning happy to play against Curry. I think there's a lot of a hoopla here for him to just keep dominating. I don't think LaMelo necessarily needs a narrative if we're trying to juice everyone up, but I'll be all over some LaMelo here. Fading Melton going banned. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Bulls hosting the Sacramento Kings. Project starting 5 for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, Rashawn Holmes taking on Kobe White, Zach Levine, Garrett Temple, Patrick Williams, and Wendell Carter Jr. Kings have been a team that put together some weird lineups with a lot of questionables. If we pull up the Kings injury news and notes, Harrison Barnes is officially questionable. I feel like he doesn't miss a lot of games, but he's dealing with a sprained foot. He's rumored to be in hot demand on the trade market. So the Kings may be extra cautious here. The Celtics have been frequently mentioned as a possible destination. If Barnes needs to miss the second straight game, Nemanja Bjelica would be a no-brainer stream after putting up a season-high 25 points. Glenn Robinson III listed as questionable. He's dealing with a right knee. Not really a slate-breaking piece of news there. And then Rashawn Holmes dealing with a knee questionable. He's missed 2 games in a row, but he did warm up on Thursday, which suggests that he's getting a little bit closer. But if he can't play, Hassan Whiteside will be somebody that we lean to off the bench. And then Marvin Bagley gets a pretty decent bump as well. So Kings news is going to be huge, and another reason to even to weight that sentence even higher is the fact that the Bulls are just one of those matchups right now that we target. They give you everything you want in a DFS matchup. First of all, Kings are favored by 2, but when we look at team pace, the Bulls have the 3rd fastest pace in basketball, and defensive efficiency isn't great. The Bulls have a bottom 10 defensive efficiency, so it creates a lot of possessions and a lot of potential scoring, and I think we get a high predictive value in minutes played if we get Kings news with a decent amount of time. So if we had no Harrison Barnes or no Rashawn Holmes, we easily fire up Nemanja Bjelica at 5K-ish. I think 30 fantasy points isn't an extreme projection for him. It's a solid spot. Hassan Whiteside is 6K, 5K-ish, minus $200. Maybe I could see that being a little bit more volatile, but I still think if you gave him 25 minutes in this matchup, I think 50 fantasy points happens every now and then. Enough that I would have some shots at it. And it's not like center has like studs today, right? Usually we're getting Embiid's, Jokic's, guys like that. We don't really have that today. So it's okay to maybe overpay for 25 fantasy point floor and then maybe hopefully get us a pop at a 40. I think all the upside today is in the small forward and the guard spot. So it's fine to accept maybe 25 from Whiteside if he'll give it to you. And then Harrison Barnes, I think if he did play, I think a lot of people would just kind of forget that he exists and don't play. And I think it becomes a rock solid play for the minutes that he usually contributes, and the spot being what it is. De'Aaron Fox, 8,100 8K. Seems like leverage-wise, Fox could be one of the most contrarian ways to get 50-plus point upside on the slate, and might come at extremely reduced ownership just because of how stacked the guard spot is. Damien Lillard, you can roster LeBron at the guard spot, Steph Curry, Westbrook. I mean, It's stacked, and most people are just going to straight up try and get LaMelo over Fox. So Fox is in no man's land price wise, but a high usage guard against the Chicago Bulls. I mean, he dropped 60 against Philly, 54. I mean, there's a range of outcomes for 60 plus fantasy points at 8K. So I definitely think, as we get closer to the lock, I'd want to keep my ear to the ground on ownership projections, because I think there's a strong contrarian case for Fox to be a great leverage play in a great matchup, guards against the Chicago Bulls. I'm certainly a buyer in that. On the slate, the Bulls are allowing a top 3 amount of fantasy points per game, top 2. Only the Wizards being above in terms of fantasy points per game. So big spot there. Run it back, though. Kobe White, Zach Levine, both very, very viable plays here. Zach Levine at 95.92. I like him when he's in the 8Ks, the 9+ Ks. The requirement for 50+ is even stronger. And Zach Levine's quickest path to 50+ fantasy points is usually through 35 real points. I definitely think he can get that here. He's averaging 28.5 real points per game this season. And then Levine last night had a tougher shooting night. Still had not the worst fantasy game at 48.75, but shot 9 for 28. And Joel Embiid, he credited that to Matisse Thybulle defense. 2 for 10 from behind the arc, but the perfect 10 for 10 from the foul line. So those free throws really, really helped him from crippling some lineups last night. I definitely think this defense is going to be a lot softer. So if you have a chance to curtain call 25 shot attempts, go for it. Deep minutes for him. And he is another guy, just like De'Aaron Fox, likely to fall through the cracks just because of who else is on the slate. Patrick Williams, I think at 4.7, 4.8. I think if I put 30 minutes on him in a decent to good spot, Sacramento Kings defense, one of the worst. I think it's the worst per 100 possessions in basketball. Yeah, 118.5 defensive rating. So all these Bulls that we could pin at 30 minutes, uncomfortable clicks. We're not running to play Garrett Temple. Is it a revenge game? I think he played for Sacramento. Go for that, yeah. But if you're getting 30 minutes of opportunity against the worst defense in basketball, you just never know what happens. Even Wendell Carter Jr. in the mix here. We talked about there's no studs at center. Could I get 30 fantasy points out of WCJ? I got him projected right at 30 fantasy points on both sites. So fire me up, Wendell Carter Jr. for sure. And I can stock and stuff for that for 25, 30 plus fantasy points, 21, 27, 23 matchups. The last couple of slates. I mean, Embiid's one of the worst matchups you could draw right now. Pistons probably expect a little bit a better results there. Over a point per minute against the Pacers, one of the better matchups in the league right now for center. So I still think there's a range of outcomes for 30 fantasy points on Wendell Carter. So I'll be taking some of that. And then Thad Young, 65, 6K. I wish his price would dip even more, but as long as Lauri Markkanen's out, probably has a shot at 24-ish minutes, and maybe one of the front-end guys gets into foul trouble. But, I think we get a lot of mid-tier stocking stuffers from this game. Tyrese Hallie Burton, also a guy that could flirt with 30-plus fantasy points. Plenty of ways to go. Chad, who's your favorite plays from this one? I'm curious to see where you guys are plucking from this one. Ben Snap says, imagine putting Westbrook and James and they both get a triple-double. It's very possible. And that's also something you can bet on the DK Sportsbook. LeBron. Is Beltron a good play tonight? Beltron. I'm assuming you got auto-corrected, but I'm trying to think. I don't know who you meant there, Jim. I think Bron is picking and choosing his spots, resting without actually missing games and resting. Yeah, I mean, I think every vet should do that. What's up, NBA Talk? How are you? Love Garrett Temple here at his price on DK. Sure. I got him at 24 fantasy points at 4,200, 4,300. I do think there's some wiggle room for more just because of the Kings' tendency to be a bad defense. Yeah, I don't mind Garrett Temple at all. I think that's a solid fantasy play. Shadow says Fox 33.5 PRA or 24.5 real points. What would you choose? So if that's only a 9-point gap, so essentially do we get 9 peripherals out of rebounds and assists out of Fox? And that's about what he's averaging. I'd probably take the PRA. right? Because if Fox, let's be honest, if Fox went over on 24.5 real points, that's 25. For him to not hit PRA, that would mean that he would not have 8 combined assists and rebounds. So I'd probably take the PRA if I'm just determined to bet that. Me, easy, just drop like a 93 on the Bulls. Best player 6K or under on DraftKings. Or best player 6K or under on DK. Just points per dollar value. For ceiling, I think Hassan Whiteside, if we got Rashawn Holmes news being out, just points per dollar value. My projections early on, like... Give it a minute. Come on, baby. You can do this. I believe in you. Xavier Tillman. And it likes a lot of Memphis guys. And then Wendell Carter is the highest listed guy under 6K that makes sense for me matchup-wise. So probably Wendell Carter. It's kind of like that Ayton feeling I had yesterday. Fox is a nice play. He sucked last game. Great matchup. Yep. Kafka just sold Obi Toppin for $750. I hope someone here bought it. Yo, Kafka. The pain that I have, chat. I don't know how many of you guys play on Top Shot, but my first pack ever on Top Shot was a $15 Cold Cats pack. And it was one of the dumbest packs at the time that people have seen. I had a rookie James Wiseman dunk. What did I just click? Who's Charlie Black? Shout out to Charlie Black. I had a rookie James Wiseman dunk and a Tyrese Hallie Burton jump shot. I looked earlier, and this dunk was listed at $1,300. So I left $1,000 on the table by just I didn't know what I was doing, and I already know Hallie Burton's one of those guys that I think saw at $900. So this pack, $15, I made a $1K over instantly. But if I would have held on to it a couple months, man, it could be $3-4K that I just let sit out there. So that's pain. That's pain. But this market, I don't know. I'm still learning this market. What's up, Scott? Hive WCJ in already? Yes. How many minutes do you have on Whiteside? So Whiteside's projected minutes will be pretty contingent on Rashawn Holmes' ability or inability to play today. If Holmes is in, I have Whiteside about 14 minutes. If Holmes is out, I could push that to 24 minutes and not feel like it's a bad move. I guess we would look at the last game for Whiteside. He played... Why is it going so slow right now? My CPU usage... He played 15 minutes against Miami. Maybe he doesn't get deep minutes here. Maybe it's more like a JaVale McGee play, right? You put him at 15, hope you get a little bit more, and know that he could be a PPM plus. So maybe I would just put him at 20 if Holmes was out and hope that wasn't out of bounds for that. Triple-double means nothing when Dame puts up 50 real points. Yeah, I mean, it's all about the raw fantasy points at the end, so it is what it is. Bobby 36 Westbrook, Hero, or Levine Butler. Probably a way higher floor in Levine Butler, and arguably the ceiling is the same. Westbrook's ceiling just hasn't been as consistent with Beal, and then lately some of the supplementary guys on the Wizards have been getting deeper responsibilities. So I think your floor and ceiling is probably in Levine Butler. Jim says, for Showdown, I have Gill for value. If not, who can I use for that price? Man, I don't know the Showdown pricing right now, buddy. But I maybe throw a couple names there. I'd look at my projections, but I don't really know the Levine stuff offhand. You guys hear that train every day? Levine Butler can go 50. I don't see Hero. Yeah. Let's move on to the next game here. Memphis Grizzlies hosting the Phoenix Suns. Project starting five for the Suns. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mcconnell Bridges, Frank Kaminsky, DeAndre Ayton. Up against Ja Morant, Desmond Bain, Sean McDermott, Xavier Tillman, and Jonas Valanciunas. Grizzlies, that's a projected lineup. Can go several different ways. I do want to say the Suns are on night two of a back-to-back. And every now and then when a team gets like a soft matchup on a back-to-back, I do kind of flirt with the idea of what are the odds that Chris Paul or the vet would sit. So I don't know. In my head, I'm kind of bracing for like some weird news about Chris Paul. That's completely just like a gut thing. So just kind of, I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that, but I feel like with all those people out for the Grizzlies and Chris Paul playing 30 minutes last night, I don't know. I just kind of want to brace myself for something wonky to happen here with the Suns. But with that said, last night the Suns put up 132 real points against the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans defense is so bad. Normally the Suns are not a team I go out of my way to target, especially as a stack. Yesterday was one of those days. Today I don't really have anyone projected anything insane. I think DeAndre Ayton's still a little bit too cheap for what his potential upside can be. He's under 7K on both sides. If I'm looking for 35 fantasy points on this slate from likely any center I roster, just a min, I think that's obtainable here. Jay Crowder had a big game last night. But I'm really no one on the Suns are just going to be front-end options for me unless someone was out to shake things up. On the Grizzlies side, I want to take advantage of all these guys we got out, right? Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, Brandon Clark, those represent some big minutes. Even Grayson Allen, like some of those guys were playing 30 minutes. So I do think, even though the matchup isn't pristine, we chip in a chair minutes on a price point. I think Desmond Bain and maybe Xavier Tillman kind of stand out to me the most for what they can do at their price point. Desmond Bain is one of the better percentage shooters in the league. So if I give him an opportunity to take the Dylan Brooks shot volume, or at least just close to the Dylan Brooks shot volume, 15, 18 shot attempts, because of how efficient he is as a shooter, I can see 20-plus fantasy points there, and he's done that in 3 games straight. All those matchups a little bit better, but in 25 minutes, he's getting it done. Can I push that to 30-plus minutes without Dylan Brooks? I think it's possible. So right now I got him at 29 minutes. I'll take the 20-plus. And like I said, a guy like Desmond Bain keeps me away from a Wesley Matthews and a KCP, which seems like the right decision process-wise pre-flop, but we'll see how it turns out results-wise. And Xavier Tillman, I said, was projected as one of my top value plays just because of how cheap he is. So these guys are going to be leaned on quite a bit today. I don't think it's like an incredible matchup. The game had a 223 total. Let me see if it moved at all ever since all those guys got kind of ruled out. Anderson and Dylan Brooks have been linchpins in that starting lineup. Grizzlies went from a 110 team total. Now they're at 108. Game total didn't really go bananas. It just dropped a bucket. I don't know. Ja Morant, I don't think I play him here. He'll likely be one of the lower-owned point guards. If you think this is that spot where he drops 45-plus, he goes Lonzo Ball on him, go for it. I think we are decidedly more enamored by almost 5-6 other point guard eligible players, and he's only a couple $100 away from De'Aaron Fox, and I just feel like Fox is going to win that 1v1 because of the matchup against the Bulls. But you could at least argue Morant's responsibility are heightened here. Perhaps his use is heightened with some of those players out. And then Jonas Valanciunas, might have to look at him to pick up some of the slack here. But I only got 29 minutes on him. Other guys that I kind of like flirting with for value, John Concher, 3,200. If I can get 20-plus minutes out of him, I definitely think 20-plus fantasy points is there. And then DeAnthony Melton on FanDuel at 3,800. I got 25 minutes on him. He's usually a guy I can trust to be near a point per minute. The caveat with DeAnthony Melton is he's a point guard, and you just don't feel like I'm going to want to give up that equity, that raw point potential at the position. So even though at 3,800, even if DeAnthony Melton dropped 30, like I said yesterday with Willie Hernan Gomez, I literally made the case. Like if you go back and watch, we talked about how if Willie Hernan Gomez drops 30 and Joel Embiid laps him, that raw point probably means more at the end, and I feel like that's the same way for DeAnthony Melton. Point guard's probably the deepest position in terms of upside. Guys that can drop 50, 60, Steph, Dame, Westbrook, Fox, Melo. Like, how many times is it going to be worth getting 30 from Melton versus a 55 from some of those guys. So I feel like the position's going to keep me away from Melton on FanDuel, but on DraftKings at 4,800, even that's not a fun click because 25-30 is essentially what you need at that price point, right? See what you guys got in the live chat on this one. Definitely think this game's an interesting discussion because I think a lot of eyeballs went here that weren't there this morning when Grizzly players weren't all rolled out, and I don't know that all this value is going to be as real as people want, right? Levine, Butler can go for 50. Yup. Gun, you guy Monk tonight is a sleeper. Oh, your guy Malik Monk. Yeah, 6-man on that lineup. Monk and Miles Bridges off the bench there could be a fun handcuff, and I think the I don't know, maybe not both, but I think one of them could shine there. Especially if they go more small ball with like P.J. Washington at the 5 and Miles Bridges out there stretching Hayward at the 4 sometimes with Malik Monk in the mix. I think it's possible. I don't think that's I don't think you're crazy for sniffing around Malik Monk. Love the train rumble, bro. This train is essentially in my parking lot. It's tough. When you live, man, in the hood, yeah, I live on the other side of the tracks. I would move. I don't mind. I don't mind it. It's whatever. Rent's really cheap here. It's a decent little spot. But, yeah, the trains are a lot. There's not a lot of places you can go in Texas where I live and you don't hear a train here and there. Bain over Caruso. I would probably agree with that, Bobby. I think I would say most people agree with that, but we'll see. I'm pretty bad at projecting ownerships. A blowout is even better for the cheap Memphis guys, too. Yep. These guys will play more than 25 minutes for sure. Yeah, I think in theory, yes, but I also think people think the Grizzlies have a 6-man rotation or something like that. I think they're deeper than people give them credit for today. Basically, my fear is that all these Grizzlies value, like Sean McDermott and Justice Winslow, these type of guys, I don't think are just a lock for being fantastic plays today. But there's probably going to be 2 Grizzlies that I have in every lineup, and we'll see at the end of the day how that works out. Mcconnell Bridges, I was talking about Miles Bridges, referencing the Charlotte Hornets. But if you're talking about playing McCall Bridges here, 33 minutes, the Grizzlies do offer a lot of defensive peripherals. You look at McCall Bridges' blocks per game, 1 steals per game, over a half. Maybe he gets a little bit more juice for FanDuel. 33 minutes, chip at a chair against this G League Grizzlies lineup. Sure, I don't think it's a bad stocking stuffer. THC is the only under 4K guy you should play that's not a Grizzly. Okay. I would hope rent is cheap, but the train sound like it's coming into your living room. It's loud. But it's a nice place, man. It's a nice place. I don't know if hearing a train a couple times a day lets me live comfortably, whatever. But down here, like I said, trains are everywhere. My last couple of spots have just been riddled with train tracks within a mile. But this is the closest, or the second closest I've ever lived to a train track. You get used to it after a while. You guys know people that have a smoke detector that beeps, and they just, after a while, it's just normal, and they don't realize they have a smoke detector beeping. I know we've all queued up on a Call of Duty or Fortnite lobby, and some guy with a mic, deet, deet, and it was like, bro, your thing's going up. It's like, no, it's not. That's not me. It's you. It's the same with the train track. After a while, you just don't hear it. If you live by an airport, it's what it is. But for audio quality, every now and then, it'll bleed through. Guys, we got one game left on the docket. Got a couple plugs to get out the way. While I do that, if you guys could do me the favor, hit that thumbs up and double check, see if you guys are subscribed. I'm going to talk to you guys about prizepicks.com. First of all, we've been pushing Prize Picks. If you guys want the ability to sports bet or player prop bet, and maybe you don't live in a state that currently has a DK Sportsbook or something like that, check out Prize Picks. They allow you to put together player cards and prop bets based on fantasy points scored, which is the same as the FanDuel scoring, and single stats scored. You can bet on points, assists, and rebounds. And you can put them together here, find 2 to 5 of your favorite lines, bet the over or the under, and you can make as much as 10x your entry. You could flex play it to where you don't have to get every single one right. We've talked about a couple picks that we like already today. And we actually have support for this in the RunDFS.com spreadsheet. Before I talk about the spreadsheet, I want to let you guys know, if you've never played on Prize Picks and you sign up using code GUNDACKER, they will actually match your deposit up to $100 instantly. No slow drip. No, you have to play this to get this. You have to play $50 to get $2. None of that. If you put $20 in there using code GUNDACKER, they're gonna match it with $20. So you'll have $40 of site money to play with. Go around, make some fun cards, and try and flip 10x on whatever you play. So code GUNDACKER on PrizePicks.com will get you that opportunity. I think one of the things we've done in the RunDFS.com community is I have a player props tab, which has fantasy points, which is based on the Prize Pick scoring, points, rebounds, assists, and we just kind of hunt through here. If we find a discrepancy of 2 or 3 points, whether it be over or under, we kind of target that and bet that way on Prize Picks, and it's been pretty successful. We've been seeing some fun screenshots, and I think I would say if you want to play for profit, just grind out the 2-player pick cards, the 3, maybe make 2 locks and then add a third and bet the over-under on the third. There's so many strategies you can do to flip some money, some quick money, right? Maybe you're not winning the 100K like you're on DK, but man, 5 to 10x in your $20 bill. It's fun, and it's a great way, I think, to reward the research you're already doing. Like yesterday, we thought DeAndre Ayton could be a super solid play in a matchup against the Pelicans without Adams already in one of the best spots. But at the end of the day, DeAndre Ayton's 40 was irrelevant on DraftKings and FanDuel because of the Embiids, the Jokic's, the Vucevic's. But you still could have rewarded that research by picking his props over on Prize Picks or in the sports book. So check them out. Use code GUNDACKER, and then if you want access to this spreadsheet, this is a premium perk of having a subscription at RunDFS.com. Go to RunDFS.com, make yourself an account, click VIP passes. You'll get access to the VIP forum once you upgrade, and you'll see the onboarding thread. You click that thread, and you'll have a link to the spreadsheet, and you'll also have a link to the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, which looks a little something like this. And before lock for about 2 hours every main slate, we hang out in the VIP voice chat, talking Top Shot, talking lineups, digesting news, creating lineups, and I create my player pool while I'm in the voice chat. If you guys want to compare your pool, your notes to mine, I'll have my worksheets up, my tier 1s, 2s, and 3s, every position on the site. So a cool way to support the stream, support the site, get something in return. And my girlfriend will post pictures of our cat constantly. So if you want some of that, yeah. NBA Top Shot packs available. Wait, is it? They went live. Packs. Oh snap! Chat. How come nobody told me? They drop at 2 p.m. Pacific. 5K. Oh no! I missed it. Chat. Oh. Wow, that's tough. All right, I'm out of there on the line, I guess. Right, if I join. I guess we all might have missed it. Join drop. And they said the line is paused. I just hopped on, refreshed my page, and saw a notification. Oof. Man, they really did that, huh? All right, so there'll probably be more. It looks like they're stress testing, so there'll probably be more drops tonight. Anyway, come join us in the RunDFS.com Discord. We'll speculate some Top Shot cards and go from there. Self, what up, Gun? Finally, power is stable. Do you like Tyus Jones on FanDuel single entry tournament? So again, Tyus Jones, is he just point guard eligible on FanDuel? The answer is yes. I gotta go with raw points, man. I probably double stacking big point guards today. Rocco not getting enough love with the Wizards turnovers. Good spot for steals. I like that. Packs dropped. Packs dropped, but those are common packs anyway. I'm not too worried. Started the stream 45 minutes late, through on 2xp and caught up. Wow. How do you get those graphs on StatMuse to show up for recent matchups? So there's a couple queries, and the most common query I'll use is if you're just looking for how a player has performed recently versus the team. So LeBron James, DKP by game log versus Miami Heat, and then put last X amount of games. I usually put 10 games, and that'll get you pulled up. Meanwhile, I'm 50,000th in line on a 5,000 pack drop, so I'm not getting a pack in this drop. But it's fine. These are commons. I'm not too worried about these. And then, so these are last 10 games of LeBron against the Heat. But remember, a lot of these games happen in the NBA Finals, but then prior to that, a couple strong games as well. So that's one of the queries you can do. You can start adding stuff like LeBron James, DKP by game log, without Anthony Davis last 10 games. And if you guys haven't been using StatMuse, it is a free tool. It can be a little BVP-ish, right? Some of these numbers without context can mislead you. So what I like to do is if something stands out like minutes played or just a massive game, so 74.5 fantasy points, 43 minutes against OKC, you're like, man, why did he play so many minutes? You click on it, you probably see, you'll see who played that game. It'll show you box scores and player stats. You'll see who started and whatnot. Always put a little context before you get over ambitious, right? Packs. Yo, Raj acting like he's in on the top side. Raj, relax. Raj can't be bothered being on the stream, but he's here for packs. Made some nice money with Jamal Embiid. Nice. Yeah, Jamal was a massive play last night. And it was easy to be on Jamal in the morning, and then when Will Barton's active, you're off of Jamal. So if you stuck with Jamal, kudos to you, right? Mark says, less cash game lock, Tillman and Bain. I'm with that. Gunn, how do you feel about Parker being back for the Kings? Jabari Parker, I did see he was getting some shots up on after the game. I don't know if they're going to, if they move him into the mix. I think that's another perhaps lowers the ceiling a little bit on Whiteside's minutes, but I don't anticipate Jabari being like more than 10 minutes early on, right? What website is that? StatMuse. StatMuse.com. You say this season to cut out last season. Yep. Gunn, how do you feel about Hallie Burton? I think he's in a good spot. I think if if Harrison Barnes would be out, I like him a little bit more. But even then, I think he's 25 plus minutes, so he can do just fine. No reason to be anti that. He also could just be an average play. 25 to 35 fantasy points, probably the median range of outcome. Main event tonight, Wizards at the Portland Trail Blazers. We got a 242 game total. Project 25 for the Wizards. Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Garrison Matthews, Rui Hachimura, Mo Wagner taking on Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Derek Jones Jr., Robert Covington, and they hate us because they ain't us. Cantor, a 242 total, 4.5 point spread in favor of the home team, Portland Trail Blazers. Making money ain't new to him. Damian Lillard, under 10K. Hello, Cat. Under 10K on FanDuel. Looking for a late night hammer. I think he's your guy. A little bit of a snub narrative. Not making the Western All-Star starting team. It was Curry got in over him. So I think, maybe if you put that little juice on Dame, I just think he's been playing out of this world basketball anyway right now. The volume, the usage, the responsibility he has without McCollum, without Nurkic, guys like that, he's just going bananas. So I have him projected at 55 FanDuel points, 57 DKP. My algorithm is typically conservative. To put that in perspective versus the rest of the slate, he is, wait for it, I have him projected to be the highest scorer on the slate. So I would say floor. So he probably has the highest floor. So because of that, I likely tier 1 him. And I talked about it earlier. I probably like him a little bit more floor to ceiling ratio than Curry. Curry on a back-to-back. I'm all about Curry as well, but Damian Lillard probably, I think I'm leaning on him a lot. And if I get some table setters from the rest of my lineups, and I got Damian Lillard as my hammer to take it home, and I probably project him to be at least 40% by the field anyway, then we'll just let it ride. Enes Kanter probably going to profile as one of the higher-owned centers on the slate. I got him projected as a fine play, under 7K on both sides, 36, 37 DKP. I like Kanter in fast-paced spots. Wizards going to be one of the faster teams on the slate. So go for it. Yeah, give me some Kanter. And then somebody mentioned Robert Covington. I don't think it's a crazy take. I got him for deep minutes. If you're going to get 36 minutes against the Washington Wizards, yeah, that type of pace, there's going to be plenty of peripherals to go around. I got him for over 30 fantasy points. So 100% in line with playing some Rocco today. And then Gary Trent. Just don't forget he exists. He'll take a lot of shot attempts. 15-plus shot attempts is not an obscene projection here. 14, 16, 13, 12, and a majority of them will be from behind the arc, 10, 8, 8. So if he hits them at a high clip, if he's shooting 40+% on a slate, then it'll just be that much more lucrative long-term. And then even Melo has a case, but don't get me going too deep on Melo. The Wizards past Westbrook and Beal become pretty volatile. The Blazers' defensive rating is actually worse than the Wizards, if you can believe that. And that's saying a lot. So I do think past Beal, past Westbrook, there are going to be viable plays on the Wizards, but they become a little bit more volatile pre-flop. I think Davis Bertans is probably the first guy in line for me to project. I have him at 29.7 minutes. That last game was the ceiling game out of Bertans. Now, while I don't think that's the median range of outcome, would he drop 40, 48 against Denver? I do think 25 to 35 is a more solid window, and Davis Bertans perennially is one of the best three-point shooters in all of basketball, and that's just percentage-wise if you look back to the past couple of years. So if this is going to be a track meet, he's going to get his shots up. This is a super solid spot for him to maybe push 20 real points and then a couple peripherals to boot him to a 30 fantasy point game. So I don't mind him at all. And then Rui Hachimora, he's never fun to play. He's kind of like a PJ Washington type where you can consistently make cases for him to be a strong play. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I probably put him as a tier 3. Whatever happens. And I probably don't dabble too much with anyone else. There is a smaller range of outcome for Mo Wagner to be a solid play. I am always spooked by his propensity to be in foul trouble, sharing the front court with Rolo and Alex Len. I just don't know what's going on there. So it's kind of a spin the wheel, make a deal. I'm probably just going to try and take 30 to 40 from like a Wendell Carter, Kanter, guys like that. Chat, what are you guys doing on this one before we move on to the next one? Can we see a picture of your girlfriend? Is she hot? Yikes. That's a little weird, bro. It's a little on the weird side. I have no cap on Dame Dollar. I have a ton of Lillard. Yeah. So if you project Damian Lillard, and if you agree with the sentence that Damian Lillard would be at least 40% owned, then if we're playing the leverage game and we believe in the play, then we just leverage it. So if I wanted to go 1.5x the field, or even just go bonkers, right? Give me 80%. Give me 2 times the field. If that's how I got to get leverage, that's how I get leverage. I just think he's a super strong play. But point guard is stacked, so I don't think matching the field is a bad approach. I still think Curry's valid. I still think LaMelo Ball is valid for 50. Russell Westbrook's probably the guy in the back of the pack here, and then I think De'Aaron Fox is fun, but it seems like we don't have to do too much with Fox to gain some field leverage, because I think he just kind of floats away. And I really want to see on FanDuel, and this has been a mistake I see the field make a lot. I want to see on FanDuel if people just make the mistake of playing the DeAnthony Meltons, playing the Tyus Jones, guys like that, because as solid of a value they might be, I just think on a 5-game slate it's gonna be irrelevant if Melton drops 30 and we got 2 guys with 60 at the top of the point guard spot. So, and we do tend to see that on FanDuel. I think that's a common casual mistake. We see it with Raul Neto all the time. Whenever he starts, or Ishmael, like guys like that, their 5-6x values don't matter, because FanDuel really just ends up being more like a tiers where you win the position, and if you lap the next guy up, it is what it is. So maybe some of those value guys help us out if we play double big point guards, Westbrook 10 assists. I probably wouldn't bet double-digit peripherals other than points, unless it's rebounds from like an elite guy. Lorenzo says, Russ trip dub night, always trying to outwork that against Dame. Yeah, that's not a crazy statement. Bertans will see Derrick Jones, Stretch Armstrong. Okay, buddy. There's 3 value core plays you got to play in cash. Taylor Horton Tucker, Xavier Tillman, and Bane. I love this slate. I'm fine with all those, Mark. Horton Tucker seems a little bit more risky just because they do have so many guards. But I think if they're going to need scoring, I think Horton Tucker is probably the best scoring option out of Wesley, KCP, Caruso. So I'm fine with that. No offense, Gun. You, my guy, she is hot. Okay, buddy. She is a cutie. She's the most beautiful girl on the planet. But it's just kind of weird to ask a dude for a pic of his girl. I just get the feeling Draymond won't play in a back-to-back. It's already came out that Draymond will play. Like they've already specifically said Draymond will play. And he played a recent back-to-back. I think it was like Dallas to San Antonio. He played the back-to-back. So I think he's fine. Draymond Green will play. Yeah. The guy, there's nothing out there, but I like in the back of my mind, I can't shake this thought that maybe a Chris Paul sits or something like that. Tillman 33 on DK. Yeah, I like that forward spot. What would you choose for Canner? 14.5 points or 13.5 rebounds? I can get 10% off. Nice. So 14.5 points or 13.5 rebounds. I'm thinking rebounds. This could be one of those ridiculous 20 rebound games for Canner. If I sort my prop sheet for most rebounds projected, and I'll readjust these projections here in a little bit. I have Canner leading the slate in rebounds at 14, but 13.5 is a lot. That's a heavy line. Also, I'm at 14 points. What can you get PRA on Canner? You get like a bulk discount, right? Could you get 20 PRA, 22 PRA maybe? Pascal, I don't ever really just play Pascal. MCW is bad. MCW is another example of people punting the guard position, right? And missing out on high-end stuff. Draymond be like, my knee hurt 5 minutes before tip, maybe. Ayton should eat against Memphis. He should, but I feel like his ceiling's a little bit capped. If CP3 sits, those will look even better. He makes that defense go. I do agree with that statement, but also just, guys, know that CP3 missing, like sitting, is nothing. That's just me thinking out loud. Like, there's no reason to even for you guys to think he's out. For me, I just feel like there's a chance he could sit against a G League squad. And for what it's worth, just reading the tea leaves here, if I'm just being devil's advocate, I feel like a full strength Suns team, I guess they moved to 7-point favorites. All right, so maybe that's better. And then the team's all right. I don't know. I don't know. All right, the spread did move. 29.5 PRA on Canner, so 14-4 to 10. Man, you're not really getting a solid line there, but I'd probably take a shot on that. Do we have to play Caruso in cash? No. Depending on what site you're talking about, but on either side, no, you don't have to. I think there's tons of viable options for value. But especially on FanDuel, guys, do not get suckered. Okay, I don't want to tell you how to make your lineups, but for me, like I don't have a need for any value guards on FanDuel. Like I just don't. I don't have to go buy Embiid. I don't have to go buy Jokic. If Caruso, like any of those guys, Caruso, Tyus Jones, Anthony Melton, if any of those guys drop 30, IDGAF. Give me 50s and 60s from point guard today. I just don't see how on this slate with no beefy centers, how we don't have lineups that have either Curry, Dame, Curry, like look at the names up here, LaMelo. I just the value point guards I'm just gonna skip town on tonight, and maybe that's how I get different. Maybe the field's just gonna go be happy with 25 from Tyus Jones or whatever, but give me the double 50s. Give me 100 points out of my point guard spot tonight. But Desmond Banks is probably going to be my highest on value play easily. MCW actually had a ceiling for FanDuel, just missed every shot. Yep, save money for Booker if CP3 is out. Again, that's not a thing. That's just me being dumb and thinking. 138 people up here. Let's get the if you guys get that thumbs up for me, I would definitely appreciate it. I have a Subway sandwich with my name on it that I'm going to go scarf down. And then I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord voice chat. You guys are more than welcome to jump in on that. We'll be hanging out there for the 2 hours leading up to lock, and then after lock, we'll float away, and we'll probably sweat some more Top Shot tonight. I think they're going to do a couple stress tests. So if you guys are that Top Shot Discord or that channel we have in Discord has been full of active speculation and strategy discussion. So any lasting questions, comments, concerns? Is Harrell due for minutes run tonight? I think any game without Anthony Davis, you could say Montrezl Harrell has a shot at 20-25 minutes. And if he does have those minutes coming to him, he could be a PPM. I think the Miami Heat matchup isn't something that I'm in love with, but right now I have him at 24 minutes. So if he can be point per minute, chip in a chair for 30 fantasy points, sure, no reason to disagree. Brian says, love your show. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. That's it, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'll try and be on the air tomorrow, a rare Sunday stream. But yeah, I appreciate the love. If you guys got anything else for me, twitter.com/GundackerSports. That's how you guys can reach out to me. DMs are open. And that's it. I hope you guys crush it tonight. I'll see you, the Vipers in the Discord. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.